Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating book from way back in 1954 that makes a pretty bold claim that you, right now, already hold the key to power, peace, and plenty. It's just waiting for you to use it.
So let me just start with a question for you. Do you ever feel kind of stuck? Held back by things that feel totally outside of your control? Like you're just fighting a current that's way too strong?
Well, according to the author of this book, U.S. Andersen, that feeling is actually part of a prison you've built for yourself. But here's the good news. He says you not only built it, you also have the one and only key to set yourself free. Okay, let's explore how that could possibly work.
So, the first part of this whole philosophy is about recognizing what Andersen calls the lock. Think of it as this invisible barrier that's standing between you and the life you really want.
Andersen argues that our biggest limitations, they aren't external. They're not your boss or the economy or your family. Nope, they're internal. They're the negative beliefs and, as he calls them, conceptual habits that we have built up over a lifetime. And they act like this heavy lock on our true potential.
And here's where it gets really intense. Andersen argues these abstract ideas have very real, sometimes devastating consequences. He says these painful memories from our past, which he calls prompters, they aren't just sitting there. He claims they actively attract lack and limitation into our lives right now. The story of John is used as a pretty stark example to suggest our inner world literally creates our outer reality.
So here's the official definition from the book. He calls these hidden negative beliefs prompters. And he claims they're the specific mechanism behind that lock we talked about, the subconscious triggers that keep us trapped in these cycles of negativity.
Okay, so if the lock is the problem, where in the world do we find the power to open it? Well, according to Andersen, the answer is inside us. It lies in understanding the two different sides of our own mind.
Andersen's entire system is built on this distinction you see right here. On one side, you've got the conscious mind. He calls it the watchman. It uses logic, reason, but it's totally limited by what it can see, hear, and touch. On the other side, you have the universal subconscious mind, which he calls the garden, and that is the source of intuition, limitless power, and pure creation.
And he takes this a huge step further. He says this subconscious isn't just your personal hard drive of memories. No, he describes it as a universal intelligence, the single, all-powerful creator of everything in existence. He also calls it God. And the most important part, we are all an inseparable piece of it. And this famous quote, he says, perfectly illustrates the relationship between these two minds. According to Andersen, we've kind of misunderstood this saying. He says it's not about some future moral judgment. It's a direct, mechanical law of the mind. Your conscious thoughts are the seeds, and the fertile garden of the universal subconscious has no choice but to grow them into your reality. So this brings us right to the core of the solution, the philosophy that is the key to that lock we've been talking about. It's all about the incredible, creative power of your belief. You know, this simple phrase, something you might see taped to a locker room wall, it actually captures the book's central idea perfectly. It's not about who's got more skill or luck, it's about the idea that an absolute, unshakable conviction actually creates the reality it believes in.
And Andersen points out that, we've all seen or felt this power to some degree. We see it in that think big, do big mindset of successful business people. We see it in families during a crisis where faith seems to work miracles. Or think about that sudden, calm clarity you get in an emergency that tells you exactly what to do. That's it.
Now, this is a really crucial point. This power isn't, sentimental or moral. The book presents it as a totally impartial law, just like gravity. It doesn't judge you. It simply creates whatever you truly deeply believe, whether that belief is for something wonderful or for something terrible.
So if belief is the key, how exactly are we supposed to use it? How do we turn this big, abstract idea into a practical tool that can actually change our lives?
Right, so the key isn't just wishful thinking. It's not a passive hope. It's defined as the disciplined, conscious, and deliberate practice of choosing your thoughts and then holding on to that belief with absolute, unwavering faith, no matter what your current reality looks like. The book actually lays out a clear four-step process. First, you have to dare to decide. You have to make a clear, authoritative decision about what you truly want. Second, you consciously choose your thoughts to line up with that decision. Third, and this is a big one, you must actively refuse doubt, treating any negative thoughts like they're just powerless illusions. And finally, you delegate the details. You let go and trust that this infinite subconscious mind will figure out the how.
Andersen frames this whole thing as a universal law that's been understood by wise figures throughout history.
He uses this quote to illustrate that principle of delegation, the idea that the real power isn't about your personal effort or struggle, but about having a deep conviction that you then turn over to a higher, creative intelligence within you.
So when you put all these pieces together, you've got the lock, the two minds, and the key, you arrive at the book's final and honestly most empowering conclusion.
And this is the ultimate takeaway. This is the core message of the entire book. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. You are not some passive victim of fate, but the active creator of your own reality.
Man, this quote is a direct challenge to so much of what we're taught to believe. Andersen is saying success isn't just about grinding it out with hard work, it's the result of right thinking. It completely flips the script and places the responsibility for every single outcome in our lives, the good and the bad, squarely on our own thought patterns.
So, why does any of this matter? What's the bottom line for you? Well, according to Andersen, it means that you are fundamentally free and incredibly powerful. Your freedom to choose your thoughts is your greatest gift. It means that failure is just an idea you can either accept or reject. And ultimately, it means that whatever your mind can truly conceive and believe, it can do.
So to sum it all up, the world that you experience every single day is, well, it's a mirror. It is a direct physical reflection of the state of your own mind and the thoughts you have consistently chosen. Andersen claims everything you see around you, good and bad, started with a simple choice of what to believe.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question to think about. If the whole premise of this book is true, then the thought you choose to think right now is already shaping your tomorrow. Thanks for watching.